All right, let's talk about Google's AI Creative Studio. This is way more than just one tool. It's a whole collection of them that are completely changing how people create everything from art to video to music. So we're going to dive in and demystify how this whole ecosystem actually works. So let's just start by looking at this image. At first glance, it's pretty simple, right? It's a really elegant photo of an origami butterfly sitting on a table. A beautiful, still, quiet moment. But what if I told you it's not just a picture? Because with just a simple text prompt, that still image, well, it springs to life. The paper wings start to flap, it actually lifts off the table, and it flies right out of the frame. And you can even hear that gentle rustle of paper. This isn't just a simple animation, it's a living scene, all generated from that one single photo. So the question is, how on earth is that possible? How do you turn a static image into a moving, breathing video with its own sound? It feels like magic, but it's not. It's actually a pretty fascinating stack of different AI technologies all working together. This whole idea, this ability to transform a photo into a video, is really at the core of what Google's creative tools are all about. You have an AI model that takes an image, understands a text prompt, and then generates a whole video clip. It's basically building a tiny story from a single starting point. To really get how this all fits together, it helps to stop thinking about it as one single tool. The best way to picture it is as an entire AI-powered film crew, and every member of this crew has a very specific and very crucial job to do. First up, you've got VO. Think of VO as your director of photography. This is the video model. It's the one that takes your instructions, whether that's text, an image, or both, and actually generates the final high-quality video, complete with audio that perfectly matches what's happening on screen. Next on the crew, you have Nano Banana. This is your art director. This is Google's image generation model. You use this to create all the visual stuff, your characters, the props, the backgrounds, basically everything that VO is going to eventually animate. And at the very heart of it all, running the whole show is Gemini. Gemini is both your screenwriter and your director. It's the multimodal brain that actually understands your creative vision. It takes your prompts, analyzes your images, and tells the other models what to do to bring it all together. And finally, where does all this happen? That's Flow. Flow is the production studio. It's the actual app, the workspace where you, the creator, get to play with all these amazing tools. It's the one place where you generate, edit, and keep all your work organized. So just to recap the whole crew, you've got Gemini directing the story, Nano Banana creating all the art, VO is shooting the film, and Flow is the studio where it all comes together. Each piece is incredibly powerful on its own, but together they create this complete pipeline for making things. Okay, so that's the team. But let's look at how this all works in practice. Because it's not just about creating one-off little clips. Creators are already using these tools in some pretty sophisticated ways to build out entire stories, from a single image all the way to a full storyboard. One of the most powerful techniques is something called interpolation, or frames to video. It's so cool. You give the AI the first frame of your scene, let's say it's a cat driving a convertible, then you give it the last frame, maybe that same car flying off a cliff. The AI then generates all the motion in between, creating a totally seamless video that connects those 2 points in your story. And you can take this even further, building out a much more complex workflow. A creator can start by just asking Gemini to write a simple story. Then they can have Gemini break that story down into a list of descriptive scenes. And finally, they feed all those descriptions to Nano Banana, which then generates a consistent set of images for the entire storyboard, all ready to be animated. So the potential here is obviously massive. I mean, it's huge. But like with any brand new technology, there's always a gap between the promise and the day-to-day reality for the people actually trying to use these tools. On the one hand, you have this really incredible optimistic vision. You've got Google creative producer Tatiana Gonzalez saying that these tools allow art to exist that wouldn't have otherwise, simply because of a lack of resources or time or skill. For her, the AI isn't replacing her work. It's making it better. It's elevating it. But on the other hand, you get the really candid feedback from the early adopters. And while everyone agrees the models are powerful, people are also reporting that the tools are super confusing, they're slow, and trying to keep a character looking the same from one shot to the next is a huge struggle. It feels like the user experience just hasn't quite caught up to the power of the technology just yet. But here's the thing, the story doesn't just stop with video.
This whole AI ecosystem is already expanding into totally new creative areas. It's all pointing to a future where really a simple idea is all you're going to need to start creating some amazing things. I mean, for example, Google's Lyria model can now generate entire songs just from a text prompt. Developers are using Gemini to write the actual code for custom animations, and there are other apps that use Gemini to analyze video and then automatically generate a dynamic narration for it. It's pretty wild. And all of this, it brings us to one final, really big question. As these tools get easier and more powerful, we are quickly moving towards a world where anyone, and I mean anyone, can create a film or a song or an animation just from an idea in their head. So what does that do to the meaning of art and storytelling? What happens when the biggest barrier to creating something isn't skill, but just imagination?